There lived a boy named Kamar with his beloved Grandma Fatih. From the day he was born, Grandma Fatih had been his sky, calm and comforting. Whenever he entered her room in her big, quiet house, she would give him smiles as warm as the sun. On her lap, he liked to climb, receiving a shower of sniff kisses. His parents were often busy with their demanding jobs, leaving him in the warm, loving care of his grandmother. Grandma Fatih was a vibrant soul, known for her collection of colorful dresses that seemed to tell stories of their own. Kamar's favorite pastime was to wrap himself in these dresses, feeling the soft fabric against his skin, losing himself in a whirl of colors and textures. Every time he adorned one of Grandma's dresses, her eyes sparkled with delight. There was a yellow skirt, a pink top with shimmering beads, and a purple dress with ruffles around the neck. One by one, he'd try them on. Granny would laugh at the way her clothes hung loose around his body, covering his feet and pooling on the floor like melted ice cream. "Look at you, my little prince. Aren't you just the most beautiful flower in the garden?" she'd exclaim, clapping her hands with joy. Their bond was unbreakable, filled with shared laughter and secret games. He'd hold up the hems and jump, run, and twirl, watching the skirts swishing around his legs. Grandma would clap her hands and sing while he danced. Under her influence, Kamar's speech and movements took on a delicate, almost theatrical, quality. He mimicked her graceful gestures, her lilting voice, and even her penchant for storytelling. It was a magical world they shared, far removed from the stern reality outside. But one day, the fragile bubble burst. Kamar's father came home early and found him twirling around in one of Grandma Fatih's most flamboyant dresses. His face twisted in anger and confusion. "Kamar, what are you doing? Boys don't wear dresses," he shouted, his voice echoing through the house. Kamar froze, his heart pounding with fear and shame. Tears streamed down his face as his father reprimanded him severely, tearing the dress from his small frame. That night, Kamar curled up in Grandma's lap, sobbing quietly. "It's okay, my dear," she whispered, stroking his hair. "The world doesn't understand us sometimes. But you must always be true to yourself." As the years passed, Kamar's attachment to his grandmother and her wardrobe deepened. He found solace in the vibrant dresses, a connection to the unconditional love she showered upon him. Her influence on him was profound, his speech, movements, and style became increasingly eccentric, drawing whispers and stares from the townspeople. But Grandma Fatih always shielded him, her love a cocoon against the world's harsh judgments. One day, Grandma Fatih got sick, with a fever that kept her bundled in a blanket, and a cough he could hear through the wall. His mom told him to let Grandma rest. He waited patiently for the day he could play in her room again. But Grandma didn't get better. Then, one bleak winter morning, Grandma Fatih passed away. Grandma had gone to heaven, Mother said. Heaven? Kamar gazed at the wide blue sky, but it didn't look as comforting as it did when Grandma was still here beside him. The world suddenly seemed a much colder, stranger place without her. Kamar was lost, wandering through life like a ghost, clutching onto memories and remnants of her warmth. The wardrobe, filled with her dresses, became his sanctuary. He would often retreat there, wrapping himself in her clothes, feeling her presence close. One day, as he danced alone in the attic, clad in a shimmering gown, his father walked in. Kamar froze, expecting another outburst. But instead, his father silently approached him. With trembling hands, he gently adjusted the dress on Kamar's shoulders. Tears welled up in his father's eyes as he whispered, "I'm sorry, son. I didn't understand. But I see now, she made you happy." The excessive love of Grandma Fatih had indeed cast Kamar into a world of his own, different from the norm. It was a world filled with color, warmth, and unconditional acceptance, but it also left him ill-prepared for the harsh realities outside. His father's reluctant acceptance came too late to change the path set for Kamar. The innocence and purity of his soul had been nurtured and ensnared by the overwhelming love of his grandmother, leaving him forever caught between two worlds, one of vibrant fantasy and one of stark reality.